Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to have you here as we explore an important and timely topic. The title of our session is The Great Divide: Why Men Are Opting Out of Dating and Marriage. We'll be diving into the reasons behind this shift, looking at psychological, emotional, and economic factors. Over the next slides, we'll uncover how this divide has grown and what it means for all of us. So let's get started. So here, where things get really interesting. Dating has shifted from what used to be a dance of connection, something spontaneous and natural, to more of a battlefield filled with unmet expectations. Men often see relationships turning into negotiation tables, where every move and word is about securing what they want. Meanwhile, women may feel like their efforts are seen less as genuine connection and more as an inconvenience or a burden. What's crucial to understand is that these two movements, men feeling like relationships are negotiations and women feeling their effort is burdensome, aren't just competing with each other. They actually collide, creating a clash that damages the very foundation of trust, respect, and desire. This collision leads to some stark perceptions, like women feeling they're a liability and men whispering to themselves, "I don't need a man," as a way to assert some form of survival or independence. On one side, you see women embracing the idea, "I don't need a man," which signals a shift towards self-reliance. On the other side, the phrase "women are a liability" reflects a growing sense of mistrust and skepticism. Both of these points highlight a significant divide, one that's shaping modern relationships, and it's essential to see how this divide influences the overall dynamics we're exploring in this presentation. Ambitious women, nurturing women, beautiful women. These descriptions are everywhere, right? But what's interesting is that increasingly, men don't feel the need to invest in any of these women anymore. Why? Because investing in relationships has become too risky. It's not that women aren't attractive anymore. It's that the modern dating economy has shifted so much that attraction alone no longer guarantees anything. And here's the part I want to highlight. Both sides tend to see the other as the problem. Women are asking, "Where did all the men go?" Meanwhile, men are asking, "Why should I even bother showing up?" It's like romance feels a bit outdated now. Fun has become complicated. It often requires negotiation. Effort feels like too much, and spending money on dates, that's seen as an issue. Men seem to have stopped planning dates and pursuing women actively. And if you ask women today, whether in New York or Nairobi, they'll tell you the same thing. They feel unwanted. And honestly, they're not wrong. This disconnect is at the heart of why modern relationships feel so strained. So what we're seeing here is that the modern marketplace has changed the way desires are expressed and experienced. Instead of complementing each other, these desires are now often in conflict. The cultural script, what society expects or promotes, has shifted, but the core emotional needs haven't really changed. Women still long for connection, romance, and partnership, while men continue to seek peace, respect, and appreciation. This isn't about insecurity or doubt, it's simply an observation of the current reality. You might hear things like, "I don't think men like women anymore," or "they don't desire us," or even "they don't value us like they used to." These statements reflect a growing sense of disconnect, but they also highlight something more profound. Women are now openly questioning what they once took for granted. For the first time in generations, women are voicing concerns and doubts they might have kept to themselves before. They're questioning everything, including their own roles and desires. This shift signals a significant transformation in how women view relationships and themselves in this new cultural landscape. And yes, it terrifies them. Suddenly, women are the ones wondering if he is good enough for them, not the other way around. His independence reads as confidence. His silence reads as strength. His peace reads as power. This man flips the script completely. And he has standards he actually enforces. He doesn't fear being alone. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't prove himself. He doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. A man who is whole without her. Women today fear something at a scale we've never seen before. The rise of the happily single man. This shift is changing the landscape of relationships and expectations, and it's something we need to understand as part of this broader conversation. Let's talk about the 4 brutal truths men whisper, but rarely say out loud. First, men have stopped believing they benefit from marriage. This is a huge shift in mindset, and it ties directly to the overall theme of how perceptions around divorce and relationships have changed. Next, when women refuse to sign contracts that punish them for her emotions, it's about protecting their autonomy. They believe she'll leave the moment life gets hard, which men interpret in ways that can be quite damaging. Men hear things like, "I deserve more," "I outgrew him," or even "divorce is empowerment," and they see it as a threat to their stability. When women openly say, "If I'm not happy, I'll leave," men often hear that divorce is like a trophy, something to be proud of or achieved. And eventually, many men admit, sometimes in shame, "I'm happier alone." That's a powerful statement. It means women regain their time, their identity, and their goals, often after rebuilding from the emotional and financial toll of divorce. Men who go through this experience find something revolutionary: peace. But it's important to understand that many men feel victimized. They've faced a lack of support systems, social ridicule, emotional burnout, and often find court systems stacked against them. They've lost access to their children, faced financial losses, and endured emotional pain that's real, not just imagined. For many men, divorce isn't seen as enlightenment, it's seen as an execution. Women might say, "He'll grow after divorce," but men often see it differently. They think, "She'll take half my life because she wasn't happy," which makes divorce feel more like a threat than a lesson. So these 4 truths reveal a harsh reality. Men are losing faith in the benefits of marriage. They're feeling more like victims than partners, and that's a critical part of understanding the bigger picture of modern relationships and the shifting dynamics between men and women. Let's talk about some of the dynamics in relationships and how they impact well-being. An unhappy wife can sometimes destroy the marriage, creating tension and dissatisfaction. On the other hand, a miserable husband might just go quiet, withdraw, and shut down emotionally. It's a tough reality that many people don't want to admit. Now, here's an interesting paradox. Despite these struggles, married men often report the highest life satisfaction, but only when their wives are emotionally stable. When their wives are distressed or unstable, their happiness tends to dip sharply. At the same time, we see some concerning trends among women. There's growing anxiety about aging alone, rising dissatisfaction with life, and declining mental health. Studies show that loneliness peaks among single women over 40, and antidepressant use is skyrocketing in this group. It's important to note that, although there's no definitive study proving this, data suggests that single women are actually among the happiest groups. This runs counter to a lot of popular narratives. Online, a common claim is that women tell themselves a certain story about relationships and happiness, what I'd call the narrative women tell. The reality looks quite different. This disconnect between perception and reality is part of what we're exploring today, and it ties into the larger theme of how societal expectations shape our understanding of happiness and fulfillment. You can't escape a miserable marriage. You live inside it. It becomes part of your everyday life, shaping your thoughts, your feelings, your sense of self. And of course, misery isn't just about feeling sad. It consumes everything: your meaning, your financial growth, your fitness, your career, even your brotherhood and hobbies. It's like a black hole that pulls in all the good things and leaves you empty. Now, loneliness might seem easier to handle, right? People often say, "Give me loneliness. I can manage that." Because at least loneliness is manageable. It's a feeling you can sit with, confront, maybe even find peace in. But today, many find themselves caught in a confusing trap. They're single and lonely, or married and miserable. And that misery can be just as draining, if not more so, than loneliness itself. Ask men which they'd prefer, being lonely or being miserable, and surprisingly, most choose loneliness because it's a lesser pain. They see loneliness as a temporary, manageable state, whereas misery feels like a relentless weight that drags everything down. So what this all highlights is that, ultimately, men tend to choose the lesser of two evils. They prefer to face loneliness rather than drown in ongoing misery. And understanding this helps us see what really matters in seeking a more fulfilling life. It's about avoiding that deep, consuming misery whenever possible. So what's really going on here? It's not that these men hate women. No, it's quite the opposite. They've reached a point where they love themselves enough to prioritize their own well-being. They're choosing peace over chaos. They've seen the rebellion, the entitlement, and all the legal battles, lawsuits, alimony, child support traps that often come with traditional relationships. What do they want instead? They want a life they enjoy, a sense of purpose, self-respect, their own space, peace, stability, and financial security. These are the things that truly matter to them now. And here's the thing. These men have realized that the question, "What am I getting in return?" is a fair one. Because honestly, no one can really answer that without risking offense. It's a quiet question men ask themselves, because today, relationships often feel like a service rather than a partnership. Women may want emotion, but often only their own. They may not want to hear about a man's struggles, fears, or exhaustion. Instead, men are expected to fix feelings, stimulate emotions, entertain, plan, lead, and initiate. This is what modern dating teaches men now, serving women's emotions rather than building mutual connection. It's a shift from partnership to service, and that's a big reason why many single men in their 30s and 40s aren't coming back. They're choosing to step away from a system that demands so much from them without offering the same in return. And men adapted. Modern women created a world where traditional marriage no longer offers men clear rewards, only risks. This isn't about binding contracts that can end a man's life overnight. Instead, impact now comes through work, creation, and contribution. Our legacy is built through purpose, not just legal ties. Many older men believe that both paths, marriage or staying single, are risky. The real question is, which risk actually steals your soul? The truth, some say, it's too risky to get married. Others argue, it's risky to stay single. And then there's the big question many are asking, the legacy question: what is life really about? This is what we need to consider as we navigate these choices.